All right, good morning. As Carolina said, it has been a while since we've been able to host one of our technical presentations. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you very much to Javier Paredes of Peru for organizing and volunteering this session. I understand Javier and his colleagues have some information to share with us about the geomatics and statistics management systems that they have there in Peru. And he has several presenters for us, I believe. So I will let him go ahead and introduce those partners who manage both their foreign trade system and also a supply and price system. I did want to also mention, and we'll bring it up again, that we highly encourage all of you, after you've seen this, to think about if there is something in your market information system in your country that you'd be willing to share with us. This is an ongoing series, so we very much look forward to hearing all of your progress. And again, thank you, Javier. I'll turn it back over to you and Carolina to get right in, being mindful of the schedule.
Carolina. Buenos días a todos. Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning, everyone. To begin with, I'd like to welcome you all on behalf of Manuel Manero, Engineer Manuel Manero from Agrarian Development, as well as the Minister Christian Garay and our Director Cesar Santisteban. We have a mission looking towards the future to become a model of system management. And we have been working with each and every one of you in this regard. We'd also love to thank Kimberly Mercer, President of the OIM, and Eliana Duran from ICA to help us to continue with this development in the Agrarian Development Institute. The idea is to improve the competitiveness of agriculture and to promote the transparency of information within the agricultural markets to improve our measures of building knowledge. And here we have tried to do both things, to work with specialist teams and with developed systems. And we're going to introduce the component pertaining to the system we've developed with the support of the Department of Agriculture of the United States, FAS, led by Janet Duran. And thank you everyone for being here from different countries within the American continent. Thank you very much. I'm going to give Carolina the floor so that she can lead the session. Thank you, Javier. We will now start the presentation. I believe you can all see it. And I'd like to ask Carlos Flores to get started with the presentation for the technological solutions. Well, hello everyone. My name is Carlos Flores. I'm coordinator of the area of systems development in Minagri, and I have the director of the information technology office, Leandro, and Cesar Gabo from the technical team, as well as engineer Ana Garcia. I will now present the technological solutions that we've developed with the support and management, functional management of the Statistical Directorate of the Agricultural Improvement Institute. We have these different efforts that we've made for including the agricultural system, supplies and services, prices, agro-industry, and foreign trade. Next, please. These developments have been created under the software development methodology according to Resolution 333/2022, we must comply with technical documentation as well as support, management support. Next, please. As you can see, we always start with the first phase, which is conceptualization of the requirement. Whenever building information systems in the ministry, we do this through a functional area request. In this particular case, the area requiring it is the statistics area. Regarding processes included in this methodology, they've let us know that we must follow the software life methodology for software development and systems. Regarding the procedures, basically, they include analysis stage, an analytical stage. We look at the requirements, we design each and every one of the information systems, we develop them, and then we implement them or deploy them. And this pertains to training sessions, testing, and then we move on to production. This is all based on software development standards, patterns, and quality assurance for each piece of software. Next, please.
Para esto también definimos roles, ¿no?
For this purpose, we also have roles. In this case, we have a functional role under the Statistics Directorate, then technical roles like the project manager, the business analyst, the systems architect, and the quality analyst. These are technical roles that lie within the Information Technology Office. And this is where we have had support from those cooperating with us, from USDA, from the and this is help for programmers. Next, please. As I was saying earlier, we have guidelines where we can show the guidelines, but we can show the standards, but we also have technical manuals for installation and development of the software. And then all of these concepts regarding analysis and design, as mentioned earlier, follow separate templates with a specific format. These have to be developed by the technical team, and they have to be confirmed by the functional department. Next, please. As you can tell, all this methodology has two main guidelines, one for projects, what we call PMI, or project management, and then the development stage follows the Scrum methodology, and we can also see best practices followed during this presentation. Next, please. Our desired outcome is to have a quality software by following this methodology that we've been implementing. Next, please. The technology used for development of these 5 information systems includes the model view controller system. And what we've done here mainly is to include a graphics interface that is user-friendly, that is responsive, in other words, adaptable to all sorts of computers. And that allows us to view it and to manage it appropriately. This view and this model includes a controller layer that allows us to get information from the different objects within the elements within the database, which can be found in the model layer to define the structure of each one of the tables that needs to be built. We must also highlight the fact that we are currently undergoing a technological leap through a hexagonal architectural model. And then later on, this will lead to more migration. This entire architecture lies on Oracle as a database engine, and then we also use it in C#.NET for development purposes. Before we begin with functional aspects, we'd like to let you know about the benefits or the advantages that we've gathered through development of these 5 information systems, where we've moved from using spreadsheets to automated processes. These 5 tools have, one way or another, allowed us to speed up the process in terms of time as well as efficiency, so that resources can be used in a better fashion, current resources. Some of these are still undergoing testing, which means that we can get a very important benefit nationwide. As you will see later on, these developments have led us to places that are far away in our country, where they have technology that is barely used in the area. And that means we have a technological center not only within the ministry, but for our agricultural producers. I'm going to give the floor to Katiuska, I believe, who's going to tell us about Geocisagri. Thank you, Carlos. Yes, we'll ask Katiuska Flores to address us now. Good morning, can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you a little low, but we can hear you. Okay, perfect. Hang on. Give me a second. I'm trying to adjust it in this room. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to my colleagues. It's an honor to be here this morning as part of this technical team. The work that we have developed jointly with all of you is now showing in some agricultural regions, and the agricultural statistics information system, as was mentioned by Engineer Carlos Flores, has been done in Excel spreadsheets to date. That was the format used for gathering information on the field, and to be able to work on these surveys on a monthly basis as part of the dynamics of the agricultural process. We have been developing a work to gather agricultural information under Geocisagri, which works on macros, with macros in Excel, with dynamic tables done periodically, monthly, quarterly, annually. But this work needs more development and consensus to improve the quality of the data, because we need to look at the quality of monthly agricultural information nationwide. Why am I saying this? Well, Geocisagri will allow us to include the agricultural aspects within the agricultural statistics systems to improve the quality of the data, to help with decision making for all productive development programs within the different regions. So it's crucial to have an agricultural information system that will allow us to improve the process and to decrease the time it takes to gather the information regarding agricultural stats. That's why it's so important to have GeoSysAgri, which would be an agricultural information system as part of the monthly dynamics within the agricultural system. Thank you.
Gracias, Katiuska.
Thank you, Katiuska.
Carlos, ¿usted nos indica?
Carlos, let us know, please.
Sí,
What's next?
Siguiente presentación, por favor.
Next presentation, please.
No sé si ustedes, por ejemplo, no sé si
I'm
podemos ver tal vez el test link
not
aquí,
sure if we can
porque
take a
no
look
veo
at the
si les
test
funciona.
link for any of these, if
Claro,
that's
podemos.
okay,
Usted tiene
by
El sistema
sharing
GeoSysAgri, ¿no? Esta
the
plataforma,
GeoSysAgri
como ya
system.
lo comentó ya Katiuska,
As Katiuska
una de
mentioned,
las
this
herramientas
platform
principales,
is
¿no?
one of the main tools
del ministerio, ¿no?
within the ministry.
Tiene, digamos, como ustedes pueden ver, hay
As you can see,
tiene una presentación, ¿no?
we have a
Sencilla
presentation
para comenzar, ¿no?
which is responsive to begin
Tiene las
with.
opciones, por ejemplo, para administrar usuarios.
It includes different options
Acá
for
podemos,
admin management,
manejamos el tema de la administración
sorry, for
de los
user
usuarios,
management.
cambiar contraseñas, etcétera.
We can
Y
record
principalmente
users,
el
user
registro de
information,
información, ¿no? Que ustedes van a
manage
poder ver,
passwords,
por
but
ejemplo,
mainly
vamos a
it
hacer
includes
una selección
information records, and you'll see this in a second.
por producto,
I have a selection per product,
el cual, como ustedes pueden ver, es
and as you can
es un
see,
símil, digamos, con una hoja de cálculo.
it includes
Voy a pasarle
a
la información al
spreadsheet.
ingeniero César Gago, y
I'm going to pass this
para que
information
podamos
to
revisar
engineer
y
Cesar
acceder a la
Gabo,
información, que nos pueda traer
who has been
información
part
más
of
técnica.
reviewing this information system for more technical information.
¿Qué tal? Buenos días con todos.
Good morning, everyone.
Gracias, Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos.
Sí, correcto. Lo que
Yes,
usualmente
that's
lo que
right.
estamos viendo es,
Usually what we see,
bueno, de mi parte lo que hemos realizado es el seguimiento tecnológico
what we've
para
been doing
aquellos,
is
en este
a
caso,
technological follow-up
tecnólogos que han realizado esta herramienta
so
puedan
that
generar
those who have
la
worked on this
automatización
tool
de las hojas de
can
cálculo
generate
a un entorno
automation
más práctico
of the
para que los usuarios
spreadsheets
sí
so that
puedan
they can be
ingresar
used in a
su
more practical manner and have the
registrar
user
datos,
include their
generar
information
en los reportes
as
que
well as
busque
record
realmente el usuario
the
funcional que
information
requiere, ¿no?
so
La parte
that functional
del
users
registro de distrito, como ha mencionado mi
can use it
compañero
more
Carlos,
easily.
mi
So
coordinador
as my
Carlos,
colleague mentioned,
es donde se
as the
utilizan
coordinator
justamente
Carlos mentioned,
los datos de siembra
this
y de
includes
cosecha basado en diferentes
information
provincias y definiendo
pertaining to
funciones.
planting and harvesting in different
Después, más adelante, vamos a
provinces
tener lógicamente
pertaining to
los
different
respectivos
products.
departamentos. Hoy tenemos
Later on,
el
we'll
caso
look at the
nuestro,
different
el caso de San Martín.
departments. And in this case, we'll look at St. Martin
En la parte de reportes,
regarding
es
this
justamente lo que
form.
usuarios
We're
mayormente
going to
requieren,
look
lo
at
que
the
es,
reports, which is
lo que
what
es reportes de series anuales,
the
que son los diferentes
user needs the most.
regional,
We look at the different
basado
types, regional, for
en una región
example.
específica y en algunos
We look at
momentos
specific
específicos.
regions and
Para hablar de
specific
reportes,
years.
vamos
I'm
a
going to
visualizar
click on the
una
reports
información
so that you can see,
que ya se había encontrado en producción, ¿no?
and we will
Damos un momento, por favor.
look at production. Just one second, please.
Mientras que se va generando, mencionar que toda
While
esta
we're
información
bringing this up, I just wanted to mention that all this information
este enfoque de lo que viene a ser la necesidad de generar reportes a nivel ya sea regional, provincial.
means we have the opportunity of generating reports in each region, in each district. Hang on just one second, please.
Sí, como esto es, en este caso estamos en un ambiente de pruebas,
So
ya que nosotros
here
estamos
we
en un entorno de producción debido a que
are running some testing. We're
propiamente son
not
los
in a
usuarios
production
los que están realizando
stage.
ya
Users
su nivel de información. Entonces
are the
manejamos
ones
un enfoque
who introduce the
de artista.
information. So we include other information here.
Y de acuerdo, entonces, el sistema en realidad,
So,
como mencionamos, tiene la parte de
as we mentioned, the system includes
y la parte de reporte, que es
the
la parte de
admin,
registro.
the record
Entonces,
keeping, and the
este es
reporting.
básicamente lo que hemos desarrollado, lo
This
que
is basically what we've been
el
developing.
usuario consultó,
The most
el
important thing
desarrollador
here is that
referencia
the
tecnológica,
user has
también
provided
sobre que
technological
la
transfer,
maduración del propio
and
sistema
then they
nos ha
also,
ayudado
and
a
regarding the
que
maturity of the
tengamos,
system,
pues,
it has helped us
los aportes hacia el equipo tecnológico de acá del área de
to
administración.
look at the contributions of the tech team within the ministry.
Bueno, solamente complementar el tema
Thank you
de
very much. I'd
podemos
just like to
exportar también, ¿no?
point out
Bueno,
that
nosotros en formato Excel debido
we can
a los
export
requerimientos que nos han dado, pues, ¿no? Como pueden ver acá, el
the
reporte,
Excel based on the
sí
requirements we've been
podríamos nosotros
given. As you can
a
see,
los filtros, ¿no? Que se
we
han
run the
señalado.
report according to the
Vamos a
different
seguir a la
filters.
siguiente plataforma.
Let's continue with the next platform.
Y bueno, creo que ustedes ya lo tienen en la presentación principal.
I think you already have it in the main presentation regarding the supplies and services system.
Creo que funcionalmente me parece que
I believe that from a
va a
functional
comentar algo sobre este sistema de
level, Katiuska can give us some information in this regard.
Buenos días.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
Sí, te escuchamos.
We can, yes. Perfect.
Buenos días. Sí, con respecto al
Good morning. Regarding
usuarios, en realidad,
the
todo ese trabajo
agricultural
las agencias
supplies and services system, this is developed in one of the regional agricultural departments. This information is used, is reported in Excels. We do this monthly, and we try to standardize the process throughout time. The idea is that through the system we call CISISA, we can improve timing. In many cases, it helps the agricultural agencies so that when we gather the information, it is still current. It's important to have the system in place. We've tried to improve the system with different agricultural agencies as well as the different offices of CERI. And this will allow us to improve the recording of the recording the information, the timing, the quality of the information in this technological era, given the progress is made for digital agriculture and development plans. This has helped us from a commercial standpoint in the different regions, in different provinces and different agricultural agencies, and with companies who develop these services, these agricultural services. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kathy. We're going to move on to the system for agricultural inputs and services. Good morning, my name is Gabriel Moreno. I'm part of the operational department in SICOEXA. I'd like to share my screen, please. Gabriel, I'm sorry, I'm going to present the system for agricultural inputs and services first, please. I'll have engineer Ana Garcia to do a quick overview of the agricultural inputs and services. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ana Garcia, and I'm part of the development area of TI. We have 5 main forms. We have prices for agricultural machinery, fertilizers. We have the prices for different seeds, and we also have transportation. And this allows us to record the information for a specific area and for a specific period and year. With regards to prices, we have a large form to include information regarding cost per hour, machinery, and other aspects. And then we have for fertilizers too. For fertilizers, we have two forms to include prices in different regions. We follow the year-month standard, and the information is recorded on a monthly basis. For example, let me show you the Amazon region. So when we select the different options, we can see the different commercial agencies within specific regions. We also have 8, 10, and 12. These forms follow the same parameters, but they have their own rules. They follow their own rules. Regarding user admin, we have allowed users to have complete control or total control over their system in such a way that they can create their own users, profiles, business or commercial ventures, and the information within the system. We have this in every province. We've been running some tests. And as I was saying, as Katiuska was saying, this has replaced Excel sheets that we were using to date. Thank you, Anita. Gabriel, now let's talk about Psicodexa. Let me share my screen, please.
Sí, claro, Gabriel, usted tiene los
Of course,
permisos.
Gabriel,
Nada
you
más
have
Carlos deje de compartirla de él.
permission, so all we need to do is have Carlos stop sharing the screen, and then you can share yours. Can you see my screen? We can. We have agricultural foreign trade. That's right. Okay, so in my case, I run the operational side of Psicodexa, a platform that is already in force, in use. And regarding information, we use an FTP system to download it on the first few days of each month. Once the information reaches us as users, it reaches the Syscomex system. This project is divided into phases. One is Syscomex, where we process information, and then Psicodexa, where we publish it. I'm going to stop here for a second. This is the system where we download the information the first few days of each month. I'm going to open the Psicodexa platform so that you can see the platform. So we have Syscomex here, and the data
Don Gabriel,
that we download.
disculpe. Sí,
Sorry,
yo creo que
Gabriel,
las
we can
pantallas
hear
que usted
you,
está presentando no
but I
cambiaron.
believe the
Sí,
screens
usted
you've
ve la que
been
dice comercio
showing us have
internacional.
not
Ahora sí.
changed. We can still see, sorry, we can see them now.
Ahora
Can you
vemos
see them now?
Syscomex, sí.
Yes, now we can see Syscomex. Yes, thank you. So this is a platform that is already in use to process information. This information has already been downloaded in a file, as you can see here. And once we've downloaded it, we use this platform to upload information. We do this depending on the month, and we update it. In this particular case, we updated it for the month of April. Once it is already up, we process the information, in this case, 2004, April. We process the information, and once we process the information, we move on to the next stage for the same year. And then we move on to the second part of the information. And we look at the different files to compare results and to see if the process matches the parameters we've been working on. If that is the case, we click OK, and then we update the information in this portal. Once we've updated the information, we'll be able to see it over here in Syscomex. We've updated the information for the month of April here. We can see imports, exports, series, the trade balance, comparative aspects, and then the directory. Once we have all that information, we move on to agricultural tools within the information system. Any user who has internet has access to this information. It's free. It's freely available. Any user can access the information. What is the advantage of this platform? That has allowed us to minimize time devoted to this information. In this particular case, every year, Sonats has new batches generated for agricultural purposes, and we just add these new pieces of information, these batches, and then the same thing happens with customs. In this year, since it includes this trade, we include it here. We include the countries, ports, economic groups. This also includes businesses that have engaged in export. We have the businesses who are importing also in this list. This is user-friendly information. It has helped us tremendously with the timing, and it has allowed us to expedite the foreign trade information and to update it in a better manner. And you have access to many different types of information here. We have imports by ranking, we have chapters, economic groups, comparative aspects, monthly information, stats. For example, I'm going to pick 2004 and the last update for April. If I want to look for tariffs, for example, I run the system here and I get the information. This platform allows us to download the information. Hang on 1 second, there we go. And I can say that any user can do this. And if I need to open any of the information that's been downloaded, I can do it right here. This information is freely available. Any user can access the information contained within. And the same thing pertains to exports. If I want information pertaining to exports, I can select information for this year, in this case. So I want it by country, I check it right here, and then I can tell what countries have had the highest volume in terms of exports until the month of April. Once we have updated this information, any user can check it, whether it's academia or investments, businesses, for any of those purposes. And that's what we have in this area. Thank you very much, Gabriel. If you don't mind sharing this presentation with us later, so that we can include it as an appendage or an annex to this information. Of course. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to continue with the CISAC information. Yes, that's right. Let's continue with CISAC. Carlos, yes, Javier, go ahead. Would you mind adding information about the development of SICOEXA and how we've managed to cut down on execution times, the competitive advantages we've had? Yes, of course. Let me tell you a little bit about the foreign trade system that Gabriel was telling us about a few minutes ago. This system had a platform that was a little old. dated back to the year 2009. So it was 10, 11 years old almost. And it was, the information was a little bit onerous, and it was quite costly to load this technical information because we needed information from SUNAP. We had to run the technical aspects in the database, including scripts, which of course takes time. Additionally, updating the portal, as Gabriel was saying, in the functional area means that they had to call us to update the information, so it took even longer. And what this cyber tool has allowed us to do is to break that dependence, that technological dependence, let's call it, let's give it that name, or technological support. Information left by SUNAT can be downloaded, you can update the portal, and so in many ways we have this update online already. This is a system that is run in a user-friendly fashion. As Gabriel mentioned, the users know the applications, there's been a good interaction, and so this has been developed by different consultants that we hired with your support. They've told me that approximately what used to be done in 15 days, in 2 weeks to update the portal is now done in 1 or 2 days tops. So that's the most important advantage that we have attained through this, through the deployment of this technological solution. Okay, Javier, let's move on to CISA. Thank you, Carlos. We've heard quite a bit about the word SUNAT, and I'd like to specify that this is the government institution responsible for 2 different activities. One, recording imports and exports as part of the foreign trade aspect, and then also the tax information in Peru. So foreign trade information is reported by SUNAT, who have offices throughout Peru and also in ports and airports. I just wanted to clarify that word, SUNAT. Thank you, Javier. I'd also like to add to what you just mentioned. This transfer includes an FTP technological server, which means that we can get the information semi-automatically. We're still working on a web service so that we can get the information directly. And in that case, the whole information flow would be automatic, 100%. Thank you, Carlos. Yes, I'd just like to let all countries and all of my colleagues that there are different mechanisms to manage information. So, for example, we've reached agreements with different institutions, letters to reach commitments we've reached so that access to information is done automatically and directly. This takes time, admin, and the idea is to meet the informational needs and reduce the risk of errors, especially as you all know, if you handle statistics, if the data, if the information is in different computers and different systems, there is a 60-70% possibility that we'll lose that information in 3 years, that we'll lose all the historical data, or a lot of it. So what does the system do? Well, it allows us to cut down on these risks, and that's why the ministry is constantly committed, has constantly been committed throughout the last years to follow the proper efforts for a full modernization of the information systems pertaining to all the agricultural stats in Peru. not only in terms of data recording, but also in terms of satellite imaging, which we can attain through permission of the committee and this board, so that we can make some progress. We made quite a bit of progress with satellite imaging, but we'd like to include it as a main aspect of the process. We will coordinate this later on with the MIOA and with each and every one of you. I'm going to give you a few main guidelines about SysApp. What is it? It's the system for supply of agricultural products within Peru. So this is, and this is on a level with MIOA. We look at how markets work, and in the past we were working with a 2.0 version, which was old and had many issues pertaining to updates. I believe we can't even update it. And Carlos will mention this later on, but the advantages of this system is that it must be the most visited system of the Ministry of Agriculture in Peru, and many aspects depend on this system. For instance, 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago, one of the main requirements of the different trading chains for agriculture, for food, was the need for information. We needed information about the roads, about the producers, the different agents, and people didn't know the prices. Since we've developed tools in Peru for the last few years, we no longer have protests against the government pertaining to the need for information. So the ministry has been able to meet this role. We do have other agricultural problems, of course. On the other hand, we have several in the agricultural sector within Peru, and I understand that other countries are facing many problems, but pertaining to these information systems and improving our ability to distribute information on the website, but also in terms of other technologies such as AI. Carlos can tell us more later on. We've developed these systems. So SysApp specifically is a versatile modern tool that allows us to include all this trade, supply, and price information in Lima and nationwide. Carlos Flores can explain how we've developed the computer aspects of the system to work with it. Thank you, Javier. Yes. As we explained, the previous with the previous system, Economics, SysApp includes a very similar story. This dates back to 2008 or 2009. And as you mentioned, it includes very important information within the ministry, given that it includes a portal for any queries nationwide as well as internationally. And this means that the system is quite relevant and the information is quite rich if we want to use it from a statistical standpoint. Throughout the years, I can tell you that this platform, this SysApp version 2, includes a PHP platform. It's a 4.0 or 3.0, I don't recall right now, but it has many security issues given the old technology involved. So this technological tool not only provides technological upgrade, it also allows more security when handling the information. And that's the main aspect. allows us to follow a scaled solution, including continuous improvements, and it includes an architectural change, such as we pointed out originally. We're talking about a technology that follows different layers, different sequences, and it takes over the other technology that was no longer adjustable. We must also look at the fact that these sources of information or these applications mentioned by Javier even use artificial intelligence. For example, we have Backup, Chateo Horario, and Agro Chatea, the Agro Chat. I'll send you the links so that you can take a look, and our functional users can also explain this in a better fashion. We'd like to show you this computer information tool. Engineer Cesar Gabo is going to explain how this technological tool works.
Sí, el CISAT como tal
Yes.
contempla
So CISAT
vienen a ser justamente los
includes
mantenimiento que es necesario
maintenance
para el
records
funcionamiento propiamente
that we
tal
need
del abastecimiento y precios, ¿no? En este caso, pues,
for
tenemos el
supplies, prices and supplies,
nacional, ¿no?
and we have the
Los
markets
tipos de reportes,
nationwide listed in the different types of
¿no? La
region.
cual también manejamos un poco de información
And we also
geográfica, la cual
run geographical
si
information.
le damos clic, vamos a poder evidenciar en
So
algún punto
by
donde
just
se encuentra
clicking
el mercado, ¿no? Entonces,
on any of these
permite
points, we can see the markets. So this is for market information recording. It includes the name, the type of market, the location, and the latitude and longitude of these markets in particular. As part of this necessary information to be able to run the price recording process, the supplies, this is an important part of maintenance. After that, we have important aspects such as varieties, and this is where the functional group looks at the groups, the genres and the varieties, so that we have a follow-up for the varieties in each region and province, and depending on the type of market or the place where the market is located. Then we also have security pertaining to admin access or access from surveyors or from those who are recording the information for prices or for, say, industries like poultry. And then we have the information here. The most important part, of course, pertains to prices. I'm going to show you a practical view where the user can tell us what market in what market they're recording the price. We look at the product, the variety, and then we can find details pertaining to the variety, to the packaging, and then we filter the search on the price 1, price 2, price 3, or price 4, according to the information of each produce. Specifically, in terms of reporting, we can look at something more practical. At the top, we can see the filters, and we can determine the place where we want to generate the filter. We have a specific date. We have a specific date and specific groups based on the market. We can see an example here, recorded yesterday as a basic example, where we can see the dry yellow peppers, for example, 1 kilo, we have 5 soles as a price, and we have price 2, price 3, price 4, according to the surveyor information. Then regarding supplies, we can look at the tons that are going to be part of the market, whether it's wholesale or whether it's retail. I'm going to show you specific products, and I can start including the information in this wholesale market, for example, for this product in particular. In this particular case, we have 10 tons or whatever amount we have in the market. In this case, for sweet potatoes, we look at the packaging, and then we look at the product, in this case, sweet potatoes, yams, and we see where they've been included. We can also use a filter, an information filter. We can run a search, and then we can find the information that the administrator wants to find in a specific market. The same pertains to poultry. We have a form that will allow us to look at different filters to add to a specific market. For example, this is in Lima or different places in Lima for the poultry market. And then we have reporting, price reporting, which is a little more general. And then we have multiple selections here. And this helps us to have more flexible use of information or cross checks of information. And then we can use filters to do it monthly, for example. If you're looking at a specific start date and end date, I'm going to look for the information here pertaining to yellow peppers. And then regarding supplies, we have different filters that help us to look not only at a specific region, but 2 or 3 different regions based on what we want to include in the report. That's what we have in CISAP, in the intranet. And this includes a portal for the audience. I'm going to show you the portal here. Just a moment, please. And this includes an improvement and development process right now. And I wanted to show evidence of what we've done here. This is what anyone can see. Obviously, it includes a degree of maturity through experiences that will generate later. And in this particular case, if we look at the portal and the markets, we look at the timings. I can look at the days, weeks, months, years, or whatever period of information I want to generate. Since this includes the information in the database to show different pieces of information, we can look for a specific market, we can look for the varieties, and then this shows us the result. In this particular point, it takes a little bit more time, and we're cross-checking information here, not based on one thing, but millions of pieces of data based on the daily prices. And if we look at the tons, the tonnage here, we see the results over time. So that's the extent of the presentation. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass
Gracias, César.
this on. I'm going to give the floor to Carlos. Thank you, Cesar.
Digamos, para continuar con la presentación,
To continue with this presentation,
perdón, estoy. El siguiente sistema es el sistema de
the
agricultura.
following system is the agriculture and industry system. I'm going to stop sharing.
No sé si pueden proyectar la presentación.
I'm not sure if you can project the presentation.
Siguiente presentación. Ahí, listo. Bueno, este sistema, digamos, de los 5.
So this system
4 tienen la característica, o los 4 anteriores
includes
tienen la característica que han sido desplegados
characteristics from the past that have been deployed on our servers in production environments, under testing or under development. Regarding this information system, I have system design, and the service included modeling of databases and then prototypes of information systems, which I'm going to introduce now.
Listo. Ya puedes proyectar.
Gracias.
Okay, you may project it now.
¿No? Entonces, digamos, este servicio, bueno, hubo unos inconvenientes por el
So
cual
this service had a few
no terminó, digamos, el tema
inconveniences and we were unable to finish the development, but we have it under the statistic IHSEP area now for development. But we do have the model, the database model and the information systems prototypes. And then we see that we're using CISAP and CISISA standards. And this includes business maintenance, as you can see. And this includes information under 6 different chapters or categories, which is similar to what we have in CISISA. And here you can see all information that was gathered at the time by the contractor that ran this process. We have massive uploads of information. We're still looking at the prototype for the database right now. It's at that stage right now. And so we need resources to build the information system. We can share this PPT with you so that you can see how this is being developed. We have looked at the methodology used in the different phases, and this is the design phase. We still need to look at some of the business networks, and we need to validate it with the functional area. I'm not sure if Javier or someone from the stats team can talk to us about this application from a functional standpoint. I'm not sure if Reynaldo is around. I can explain. This is a process within agricultural industry that is undergoing development. Unfortunately, it was interrupted as a result of circumstances that are not controlled by the ministry and to cooperation matters. So we were looking at the fact that we're trying to get a working system. We've developed this 50%, and we're looking at resolving the other 50%. So that's it, Carolina. I'd like to thank you all for your attention. We could talk to you about some proposals for new presentations and new systems. Of course, this is a never-ending process because technological processes need to become more automated over time.
Audio.
Thank you very much to the team. Sorry, I lost audio there with you, Javier. Sorry, I'll have to leave.
Ahora te escuchamos bien.
Okay, we can hear you now. So thank you very much to the General Information Technology Office who has been working with us constantly. And thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Gracias. Vamos a abrir el espacio
Thank
para
you
dos
very
o tres
much. We're going
preguntas.
to open up some
Danos,
space for
¿alguien
2 or
tiene
3 questions or comments.
alguna consulta?
Do we have any
Recordarles que las
questions from
presentaciones
anyone?
están subidas al sitio
I'd like to
web.
remind you that the presentations are uploaded to the website.
Eh,
Regarding
el
that
sistema
question,
aplicativo tiene dos partes, ¿no? Lo que es
we
la
have
parte
two
interna,
parts,
que
the
se llama
internal
intranet,
part,
¿no? Que
the
básicamente tiene un
intranet,
usuario y
that
contraseña.
basically has a
El
user
sitio
and a
web, pero
password.
es para el usuario
It
interno,
has
es decir,
specific
para personas
credentials, but that's for
del
internal
Ministerio
users.
de Desarrollo
For users within the
puede ser
Ministry
personas
of
de
Agricultural
las diferentes
Development,
direcciones, en este caso de
it can be staff from different directorates, in this particular case from stats,
son registradores.
and they record,
Y el tema de las
they are
personas
those who record the
es el
information.
portal es
And then there's
usuario
also the
abierto.
portal for
No hay
public
ahí, digamos, un usuario y
information,
contraseña
which is
para
open. You don't have an
personas
access
desde cualquier
through
punto
a
del mundo pueden
user and
acceder
password.
a
So
la
any
información
user
del
anywhere around the
portal.
world has
Tanto
access
este,
to
digamos, este
the
mecanismo
information in the
de
portal.
intranet y de portal se maneja
So
tanto para el comercio
this
exterior
intranet and
como
portal
para el comercio
mechanism
interno.
is used both for foreign trade as well as pricing systems. That's the answer to your question, Kim. I'm not sure if you heard that.
¿Qué tal?
Yes, thank you. We heard it.
Yes, thank you.
¿Alguna otra consulta?
Any other questions?
Caro, tenemos una consulta en el chat de...
I believe we have a question in the chat. It comes from Eliana. The interpreter can help us by interpreting it. I just interpreted the question. How has the integrated CSAP system helped Midagri in decision making? Yes, this is a key question. It is quite relevant in Peru also. In Peru, like in other countries, we have constant price increases, irregular supplying or supplies, and the population or decision makers need to have the right elements to make the right decisions. They need to know, for example, why the price of chicken is going up, or poultry is going up, or say fish. If we don't have updated information through these systems that have undergone innovation and have been developed, we would be making decisions that are not really accurate. We would have many errors, and the information pertaining to trade, consumption would be mistaken. We all know that if we have a good, updated, and powerful information system, we will have fewer errors and we'll have more accurate information. Thank you for your question, Eliana.
Muchas gracias. Vamos a
Thank you very
dar la
much.
palabra a
We will
Kim.
now adjourn the session, and the floor is yours, Kim.
Right. Again, thank you to Javier and the entire team from Peru. As you can tell, this was a very productive discussion. And as Carolina mentioned at the beginning, not only has this session been recorded, but I believe the presentations will also be shared. That should include some contact information. So I know we do have additional questions, but as we're out of time, we ask that you please reach out with those questions, either directly to Carolina or using that contact information. Thank you again, and we'll hope to have a volunteer for our next technical presentation next month. Please again consider us, and everyone have a
Ya
great.
lo tenemos, Kim. Vamos
We
a
already
tener-
have that, Kim.
Oh.
We'll have Guatemala.
Vamos a enviar
Oh, we have Guatemala, so we're looking
Almost in
ahead
that.
to August. Great. Great to hear. But yes, keep in mind for August and plenty of time to prepare. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone.
Gracias. Gracias, Javier y equipo.
Thank you, Javier, and the rest of the team. Thank you. Thank you very much.